Yes, guys, welcome to the Man United Agenda. This is the post-match reaction show, 2-2 with Spurs. I know a lot of people might be disappointed, but we're going to go into details now about that performance today. Maybe in hindsight, it might look like a good draw against a very good Spurs side. First of all, just want to shout out the guys from the other channel who done the live watch-along for us. Mr. B was unable to do live watch-along, so we had a Spurs channel, our sister channel, do it for us. So
it caused a lot of consternation on Monday. Let's just say that there was a lot of people in the chat who were not happy. But next, what would you rather, that we put something out or that we didn't put something out? So we may be
a bit biased doing it from Spurs channel. We get it Spurs view, but now we're going to give our opinion on what happened. So join us today. Big up Bath time. You've had a few days off. Didn't see you on Friday. How you doing, man? How's your weekend been so far?
It was pretty good up until like the last 2 hours, to be honest.
Okay, do anything nice? Friday night, date night, go out anywhere, playing football? Did you play football Saturday?
I played football today, and more importantly, I played Dungeons and Dragons on Friday. But no one cares about my weekend. Let's get stuck into these losers.
Yeah, Mr. B, how are you? I know you went round to Don P's house, Spurs fan, to sit down with him face to face and watch the game. In the end, come out, unbeaten.
Yeah, but we were lucky, man. I just wanted to see more. But look, this is what I've come to expect from us now. I pulled 3-1 yesterday. I was still confident, even going into the game. I didn't think we were going to lose. But look, this is United so far this season. I suppose a draw is better than a loss. But
all right, let's get into this, man. So big up Andrew Williams. You can see he's got some player ratings there. I can see a couple of 5s going around. We've got talking about the subs as well from Andrew. He's got a 4 there for Scott. Jeff saying here, so sick of Rashford acting like a baby when he gets subbed. Should have been subbed sooner. Cussing and sitting on the steps and walking straight down the tunnel, barely clapping the fans. How is Rashford going down the tunnel after being subbed? Any different to Ronaldo, said Big T. We're going to touch on this. Rashford is a disgrace, was bailed out for his goal and assist. His effort today and his knack of running into defenders. Oh, his knack of running into defenders, unforgivable. That's from Andrew Williams. What F does he think he is? Who do you think he is? Ronaldo, hardly time for him to go as part of the reason for 3 managers getting fired. Rashford, wow, he's getting it today. United even once CDM again cost them one CDM. Terrible draw. We need to win to get back in the top 4 race. Andrew Williams. Everyone should be disappointed. Can't be happy with another poor performance. That's from Big T. Andy Herbert saying, "Big up, guys." Hi, Mr. B, tell Don P there's a cobweb in one of his pictures. No, trying to hear that. I'm fed up with seeing players not care, says Colin. And Jeff saying here, Colin was great from the watch along as well. Big up to Tyrone Williams. I know, Tyrone, you're probably in the Far East right now, aren't you? He said Rashford has the same ego as Ronaldo, minus the achievements, needs to wake up and smell the coffee. Don't think I hate that anymore. My God. And was there 2 bath times there a while ago? I'm not sure. Okay,
no, there wasn't. But sorry, what's with it? Obviously, I haven't seen. I didn't see him walk down the tunnel. Is this why everybody's getting at Rashford?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't see that. I didn't think he was great, but I mean he scored. So I didn't. Wow, I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting that in the chat. To be fair, I didn't see it. So I was a bit surprised.
So 2-2 draw. Where do we start? Because after a couple of minutes, we scored a goal. Let's talk about that goal. That's a good start to the game, eh? What's his name? Hojlund. What a finish! What a finish that was. And it looked like we were on to something. After 3 minutes, top bins. Bruno plays him in. Rashi had a chance to sort of score. And he fluffed his shot. He got tackled, and then Rasmus picked it up from there and blasted it into the top corner. Great start. Did you jump off your sofa half time?
I fell off my sofa because it's genuinely one of the worst goals I've ever seen in the Premier League. It was an absolute farce of a goal, and I thought it was great that we scored there. But you got like Hojlund out there tackling Rashford. Like, it was just bloody awful football, and I can't believe that we got rewarded with a goal for that. We've had some good play this year, but that gets a goal. But before I forget, I've got a question for Jeff if he's in chat. I know a lot of people are getting very worked up about Udoggy's push on Garnacho. Could you, like, if you don't mind, could you tell us why that wasn't a penalty in the chat, so that we can just avoid talking about the only man on the pitch that wasn't a footballer?
Okay.
Yeah, what did you think of Omondi? I mean, it was a disaster.
It came from the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper rolled it out. I think gave it to Garnacho. Garnacho drove it forward, popped it into Bruno, and it was a good goal. From they had a good attack. They had a cross from the right. Goldie claimed it, and it was a quick rollout. The 1990s again, and in a matter of seconds, we're up the pitch and get a shot on goal, and we scored. So I'm quite happy.
Okay. So, what part of? I mean, Rashford ran into the defender. The ball bounced off Rashford's heel, went back to Hojlund. The finish was good, but the set was shocking. I got a message from Bath Time, and this is the quotes. This is the message. That is the best hit goal ever. That is the message that Bath Time sent me. I have to agree. Yeah. The finish was great.
Yeah,
but the build up, the rollout play, that final pass was a mess. But look, a goal's a goal, and it was early. But what did we do? What did we do after that?
All right, fair enough. But I just want to say something about the lineup. We saw early on, obviously we saw the goal, but we also saw something that we didn't expect, and that was like the fullback switching. Dalot was at right back, and Wan-Bissaka was at left back. Now, think about it. I think, all right, maybe Brendan Johnson's got pace. Maybe that's why they play him in left back. But then I see Werner on the other side. He's got pace too. So I was thinking, what's the reason for that? I don't know. Is it something we don't know about, or tactically, going into the game, why he would make Wan-Bissaka for the first time ever play at left back, especially when he always tackles with his right foot like that. He was bound to get booked. Thoughts on that, guys? Why was Wan-Bissaka playing left back today?
I could only think it was something to do with Johnson. Maybe he thought that maybe Johnson cuts in, or I don't know. I don't get it. But he looked so uncomfortable. He really looked like a duck out of water playing on the left-hand side.
What do you think, Bath Time? What's the reason for that?
It's fear. It's ridiculous for a United manager to make a decision like that. He's scared of Johnson, so he switches the fullbacks around rather than having faith in his players. Sends the wrong message for me. Dalot has been very, very good at right back, I feel, for a while now. And whilst he did all right today, you could see that he almost looked uncomfortable on his stronger foot. Both of them looked uncomfortable in those positions, and I think that Ten Hag was scared of Brendan Johnson on the transition, and I think it sends the wrong message to the squad, the fans, to everyone. When you're like, there's a Spurs player, like it's not Bale, like there's a Spurs player that we fear. Let's go and put like Aaron Wan-Bissaka in a position that he doesn't play.
He can't play.
I mean, what is that about? That's fear from me.
It worked out. I didn't see Brendan Johnson sparring for pace or beat him on.
Yeah, but then
it worked in my opinion.
Dallow's been well. When Dallow's played well, he's played well at left back. Wan-Bissaka's never played left back. He doesn't play left back. So again, I'm with Bath Time. I'm not sure it was quite fair. Maybe it was fair. Maybe that is the right word. But that's not a good. Yeah, you say it worked. We conceded 2, so it didn't bloody work.
One from a corner, and the other one. What was the other goal? So we scored directly from a corner, didn't we? That had nothing to do with the.
It was Bentancur from.
Bentancur
from a certain zone on Monday.
Yes,
I'll give you another reason why he put Aaron Wan-Bissaka at left back. Is to cover Rashford.
Okay.
Against Brendan Johnson, because Rashford's defensive work once again was abysmal today.
I agree.
I mean, he looked like a scarecrow out. Sorry for the farming analogy, but I'm a country boy. But he looked like a scarecrow blowing in the wind, like when we were like in a block and things. I'm so upset on Monday with what I've seen.
Okay, can we just go back to, because obviously you asked Jeff the question about the penalty, and Tyrone saying here, bath time is right. Johnson is just a glorified Theo Walcott, nothing to be scared of. But Rebel saying here, Tyrone, spot on, Rashford hasn't been good enough all season, and one goal doesn't flip the narrative. There was a comment about the penalty. Here we go. Jeff saying here, what got me bath time is Rashford's foot was on the penalty area line when he was fouled, so technically we could have had a penalty there.
They just breezed through it though. It wasn't even on the commentary that we were watching.
This is the other one.
Wasn't there a foul on Garnacho from on Doggy?
This is the one that that's the one that he's talking about.
Okay, two-hand tackle on Garnacho was a penalty and made it in the match. Oh yeah, Garnacho pushed Ngogi from behind, and he didn't call that one either. So it's all even. Nah, I don't play that.
I thought the Garnacho one was a penalty.
He had his hand dry.
I thought the one that when he touched his back, I thought they were going to give a penalty just because of the of his hand. Yeah, he went down softly, but we've seen
what about when he had his hand around Garnacho's waist and stopped him from going forward to get hold of the ball?
Is that when Garnacho jumped out of his hand and fell on the floor?
Are you going to? Are you a Spurs fan today, Mr. B? You hang around too long.
Listen, he's fed me, man. He's fed me. I can't cuss him too much. You know what I mean?
We had one at a corner as well, didn't we?
What's that?
There was a penalty appeal from a corner as well quite early in the match. Like someone grabbed someone round. Hang on, I'm thinking of the Everton Villa game. I'm so sorry.
Okay. All right, let's get into this.
Those are interesting.
There's two matchups I noticed in the first half. Obviously, there was Wan-Bissaka up against Johnson, but Ngogi versus Garnacho. I mean, two young players there, and it seemed like a boy to a man sometimes, because that Ngogi is the strong ox, I'd say. Hardly gets beat. I think Wan-Bissaka's got some competition there for one-on-ones. He's so strong, isn't he, that guy, their left back?
But why were we punting the ball to Garnacho against him? Like,
expect him to race him.
When we were trying to play out of the press, like the amount of times Evans and Onana hit an out ball to Garnacho against him, it was absolutely ridiculous.
It's like they played without having any faith in the central midfielders.
Well, I mean, Dalot played one of the worst passes I've seen from a United player in years. Where he tried
the left-footed one.
Fullback to fullback switch.
Yeah.
And poor old Eriksen, like, obviously, I don't think he played particularly well.
God, he's done. He didn't know he was playing in the first half.
Why did Eriksen start ahead of McTominay? Because remember in the preview show, we were saying, look, he's got to stick.
I'm glad. I don't care what the reason was. I don't care what the reason was. I'm glad he didn't start. McTominay's role is to do what he did, what he's supposed to do, come on and try and win the game that he didn't do at the end when he headed the ball over the bar. That's McTominay's role. That's what it should be.
You know what I mean? Well when he came on, to be fair.
Yeah, but that's fine. That's the last 10 minutes when we're looking for a goal. I have no problem with that, but he shouldn't be starting the game.
Okay. So who do you think won that duel between Wan-Bissaka and Johnson and Doggy against Garnacho? Because this is a tactical play, wasn't it? Who won the duel between Doggy and Garnacho? Do you think Garnacho got eaten up there? And if you're up against a guy like that who's obviously got a beating of you for pace and you're known for driving and that kind of thing, what should you do to change the game to get around him to stop going on one?
I'm going to say he was. I don't think Garnacho won the duel. He wasn't bad, but Garnacho's going to have to learn. It's not always about running forward, but who's he learning from? The other winger, Marcus, who all he does is run and kick the ball forward. Well, that's great experience. That's a great person to be learning from, isn't it?
Okay, it's true.
It doesn't really matter who won the duel, Amonde, because Garnacho didn't do anything when he did beat him.
Yeah.
Like the cross he got in from McTominay at the end came from the left-hand side, and he provided no service on the right. because in my view, because he didn't have a channel runner, like Ericsson wasn't able to get up and down to give him an option, and Delo didn't seem to be like able to overlap or do anything. So it's, for me, it's not so much about who won the duel, it's what was that team setup. Like, it was just amateur all over the place. Just instead of playing like horizontally, stretch the pitch, create the spaces for people to get in between the lines and things, all we did was get the ball and bang it forward non-stop, like far too horizontal. When we actually did create any chances, it came from playing the ball sideways and opening them up. I have absolutely no idea if that was the players just being gumps, or if the manager, like, if that space in between his ears echoes as much as Mr. B's location, because there's nothing there. But it's just, I'm so upset with what I've seen today. Like, I mean, Rashford, Jesus Christ. Like, what was he doing?
He scored a goal. Someone could argue.
Do you know what, OMONDI? Do you know what? That's not enough.
We're 1-0 up, and then obviously after 18 minutes, we couldn't hold on to that lead because they scored from a corner. And I can't remember. All I remember from the game was corner. They had so many corners today, but they scored from one. It was Richarlison, that guy, who came in and scored. And just looking at the defensive setup, how we set up for that corner, and how they did as well, it was a well-drilled move, I'd say. Well-drilled setup.
No, OMONDI, please.
We're shit at defending. We don't defend set pieces. In the second half, they had another corner that hit the bar. Yeah. We don't defend corners. It's impossible for us. I don't understand what they do in training on Monday.
But even if we don't defend corners, do you think there's we could accuse the goalkeeper of not coming out and claiming that it's in his house? It's in his 6-yard box. The header from Sergio Romero and the goal that they scored as well. It's in that area where the goalie's just standing on his line, and maybe he could come out. And even if he punches it, it's a great deterrent, I think. But yeah, what they did, they had 3 players just about a 6-yard box, and then obviously we had guys only in the 6-yard box, and they just made that run and trampled over people and got there for the header, knowing that maybe the keeper wasn't going to come out and claim that. But it's good set piece, and people just getting run over. It's terrible.
I mean, like, OMONDI, I always say you need five strong headers in a team, right? You said it was like that we were set up all right. Once again, we do this crazy thing where we put Bruno and Rashford on the near post. Stronger header of the ball there. And in that team today, there was maybe, I'm going to be generous and say there are 3 players that consistently win aerial duels, which are Varane, Evans, and Delo. That is nowhere near enough, especially if you have a goalkeeper with a parachute on his back who won't come out to take corner, to like claim or to do anything. The team's too small. It was Ericsson and Kobe are too small to play by themselves in the middle of the pitch. Like, you have to have one of Casemiro or McTominay in the centre.
Casemiro.
Yeah, fine. You have to have more people that can head a football, especially now that Evans is going to be taken out of the team and Martinez is going to come in. Like, too many hobbits.
Yeah, big issue there. I think once again Kobe got munched on that corner for the goal. He was just out of the question. And it's Wan-Bissaka, who was Richarlison's guy, just couldn't stop the run. He got to be smart.
And Rasmus.
Was Rasmus there as well?
Rasmus got eaten alive on that corner.
Right. Did you guys notice today that physicality? I think Spurs overall were just far stronger than superior in all areas.
Men.
Yeah, big time. All right, let's a doggy. He nearly scored for us. I thought he was like that today. I mean, what was he doing? It was a cross from the left for Rashford, and Garnacho was beyond him. So he tried to do the right thing, maybe play out from the corner. I think he was trying to do, but he ended up almost scoring a beauty. I mean, wow! What should he do? He had to make a decision. Granted, obviously he come off all right for him in the end, but wow, what kind of defending is that?
I didn't even. It was a jump up, bloody hell! Because you just expect it just to go wide. Lucky. Would we have deserved it? No. Would we have taken it? Yes. But yeah, he won't be making that mistake again.
Okay. And just going to the goal now in 39 minutes, we scored to go 2-1 up. And like from the run of play, I mean, yeah, they were kind of dominating the play, but possession it doesn't mean anything really these days, especially when you can break and you've got the talent of Rashford, isn't that right, Bath time? With the goal to make it 2-1. Now look, I mean, you say what you want about the goal, but he played a 1-2 with Hojlund, which is what you want to see to open up in those sort of tight areas. And I know it was a bit crusty in the way it didn't really come off, but that sometimes you need a bit of luck. And I think for both goals, we had a bit of luck. A lot of luck, as Silla would say. What do you think of the goal? I mean, fair play. I like the 1-2. I like the finish as well between the guys.
You're going to go first, well time.
Yeah.
No, you go first.
Let's not trash Rashford too much.
No, look, the finish, I accept the finish was good. But again, that was the worst 1-2. I mean, it was so bad that Porro thought Rashford was going to run outside him. So he was already running outside him. If you look at it again, the shit pass completely deceived him. So fair play.
So the 2 was the bad pass.
Yeah, the 2 was the bad pass. Yeah, definitely.
He can't get it right, can he? Oh dear.
I said to Mr. B, that I'm not a striker, but that's one of the worst bits of striker play that I've seen from Hojlund. Just hit it there. They could try and play that 1-2 100 times and it wouldn't come off. I have absolutely no idea how that worked. It was just complete idiocy, like what he did, and it came off. And like on the telly, they were sort of talking about moments and things, but I mean that was like quantum physics, where like you can be great and terrible at the same time. It was a great finish. Like both of them are really good finishes. Like Hojlund's one was absolutely fantastic. It was like a trebuchet into the top corner, but that's not link-up play. Like that's just nonsense. What they were doing together, because the problem is, and I know a lot of people say Hojlund doesn't get the service. People are in his spaces and stuff. I've never seen a striker running into his own players as much as I see it with Hojlund.
It worked today.
Yeah, but I mean,
you can't coach that, mate. You can't coach. You can't teach, and you can't teach opposition players to play against it.
No.
Come on, can we give the guys a bit of credit? It was 2-1 up going into half time, scored 2 goals. I mean, come on. We didn't have much of the play, didn't have much of the ball, but we were decisive. We hit the way it hurt. Now, going in at half time, I would have been happy with that. I would have been saying, right, we've got to build on this and go out in the second half and make sure you don't concede a goal. But just saying, Romero, let's talk about the goal. Obviously, there's another corner on the 47 minutes just before half time, and Romero just came crashing through a player and hit the crossbar when he should have really scored, headed it down. And we get on to heading it down a bit later because we should have buried the game 3-2 right at the end with McTominay. But Romero, I mean, that was a great move again in that same area where we seem to be vulnerable and the keeper's not going to come out, and they had a great chance to equalise just before half-time. But going in at half-time, I mean, we usually jump on Mr. B's watch-along and have a little chat at half-time. But what were you saying to Don P at half-time to being 2-1 up, Mr. B? Were you giving him some?
No, I didn't. I just said that I don't expect us to win the game. I said Ten Hag's going to tell the players to do exactly what they were doing in the first half, and Postecoglou's going to change a few things, and it's going to take too long for Ten Hag to work out what the change was. I don't know if that's how the game went, but they scored early, and I knew we weren't going to score the third goal. I just knew it was just a matter of whether they were going to score the third one to win the game.
And half time, what would the manager been saying at half time? If you're being outplayed that much, is there anything we could have done, or is it just the fact that Ange's system
Sub Ericsson
too good?
Sub Ericsson.
I imagine he said, "Don't concede early."
Yeah. All right, let's just go through the comments quickly because the guys are chiming in. in the comments for sure. Garnacho needs to hit the gym, says George Kyle. Andrew Williams talking to Tyrone Williams, talking to his brother Andrew Williams, saying Eriksen should be playing for us, good on the ball, but his legs have gone. Bruno's a luxury player at time, needs to do more. Andrew Williams saying Poro is a massive defensive liability for Spurs. That's the reason we drew. Is it? He does good going forward. He's got a good job.
Poro won the most duels on the pitch by a country mile.
Wow. Want to say hi to One Don MUFC 45. How you doing, man? Welcome to the channel. He's saying Spurs boss us at home. It's an effing disgrace. Ten Hag has to go. NW now. And he's got doo-doo signs there. Big up. Tyron again saying, why can't Ten Hag and the United coaches set up United from set pieces? George Kyle, our set piece coach, is the biggest crook at the club, and that's saying something. Andrew Williams again saying the 2 corners, 5 yards out, central of the goal, keeper absolutely anchored. And Nana should have claimed that. I agree. Poor goalkeeping as usual from him. That's from Tyrone Williams as well. Loads of comments coming here. If you're asking who can head the ball, Maguire can head the ball, but he's not. He's injured at the moment. Mainu was our best player again, says Andrew. Given Losa, how you doing? Says hi guys. Good show as always. Thanks, bro. Appreciate that. He's also saying here what Eric's thinking. What's Eric thinking? Swapping the fullbacks. Clearly, Wan-Bissaka wasn't comfortable even when tackling. Rajat's in the house. He's saying Garnacho was good. Needs to bulk up though. George Kyle again is saying here we have far better players than Spurs, but the difference is all in coaching, and we're being passed to death by Tottenham Hotspur. Yeah, everything else is window dressing, says Andrew Williams. Given Lowe's is saying here, Rashing just needs to calm down. Not every time you run. No end product. Needs to chill. We will see the game better if he does that. Pat Lawless, how you doing? He said was so expensive.
That's not Pat Lawless. That's not Pat Lawless. Every time he comes on, you say exactly the same thing. It's not Pat Lawless.
Sorry, Pat. It's Pat from Vancouver.
That's the one.
Okay, Pat from Vancouver, how you doing? He says, we're so expected we would concede inside 5 minutes. Yeah, I mean, come on, man. Let's talk about the goal. At half-time, we got in 2-1 up. Like Bath-time was saying, just don't concede. And we conceded after 50 seconds. I mean, can we talk about this goal? Because Benkentor, who got man of the match according to Sky, he drives past Evans in the box with a lovely move again. Lovely off-the-ball movement by the players. Gets played in. Evans maybe sort of tries to jockey him, but he just knocks it past Evans and places it into the back of the net after 50 seconds. I mean, Lord of mercy. I love being legendary, says Pat.
Guess what? He's not from bloody Vancouver. He's from bloody Virginia. We're never going to get that. We are never going to get that wrong again. We are never going to get that wrong again.
Embarrassed like this, but not as embarrassed as much as Evans and our goalkeeper for that goal. I mean, come on, man. Are we static out there? What is wrong? What happened with that goal? Why did we concede that goal so cheaply, so easily? What's the issue there? Is it Evans getting his feet planted too early, or was it?
It was one on one. I think it was a good finish. I don't remember what happened getting there, but him in front of Evans. Evans thought he was going to go one way. He quick shimmy, didn't even have time to set back. No problem with. It was a good, well-taken goal, but I don't remember the mistakes that led up to him getting into that position.
I do. Like,
yes, no.
I'll tell you what it is, right? It's once again, the gap between our lines are too big, and you have Eriksen, Mainu, and Bruno, right? And Bruno is too far ahead of the ball, and he's out of the game. One of Eriksen or Mainu has to defend the channel, and the other one has to defend the edge of the box. Neither of them do anything because none of them are taking responsibility. And I would normally blame Eriksen for it because he's the more experienced player and he should just go out and block the area. But I don't know if Eriksen's played this position for very long. And it's just an example of Ten Hag setting the team up incorrectly again, because this goal, it doesn't matter who is in the team. It doesn't matter if it's Casemiro, McTominay, Bruno, Mount, Eriksen. It's of no importance. Is that area is never defended because our lines are too, like the midfield and the defence is too much space in between them. And he's and with except I'm not sure about Bruno, but Eriksen and Mainu are going to get, everyone who plays there is going to get hung out to dry because players are too far ahead of the ball. And also, I think Onana sold himself a little bit for that goal again. Like, he always goes, if you just wait, Onana will just jump out of the way and kick it in easy. But yeah, I think personally, I think that it's a combination of the system and players not taking responsibility, which just sums up the whole of the match, to be honest.
For sure. If you say go out there in the second half and keep it tight, you're 2-1 up. I mean, wouldn't you say it's good play by Spurs to open us up and get in them positions? Got a midfield runner, supposed to be the deepest midfielder, who ends up sort of jogging into a position, into the box, and scoring a goal. I think it was disappointing. I know what you're saying there, Bath Time, about the two guys protecting the spaces.
Do you know what the difference is, Monday? It's like saying, are the guys in Ocean 11 that rob the casino really, really clever? Or do we just have our doors open and everyone's asleep and money's on the table? Because that's what it feels like to me, that there's just no protection. There's no one screening. Like, the players don't, like, Mainu genuinely, and I'm not blaming him for this, he doesn't know whether to protect the channel or to go out. And like, no one passes anyone off. It's just, it's just such a fundamental error that we see over and over again. And I'm afraid that you have to put it like on the manager, because he's the one who sets it up and coaches them.
Mr. B, Tyrant's agreeing with Bath Time. He said an intelligent manager will get the team to play deeper and on the counter, especially as we're 1-0 up. Ten Hag's tactically naivety is shocking. Mr. B, I know you. I'm gonna just.
Yeah, look, I'm gonna end on this quick because there's a lot of noise here. Defensively, we don't have no shape. We don't even go into a 4-4-2 when teams are attacking us. Everybody's all over the place. There's a back four, and everybody's higgledy-piggledy. You look deep at Everton. When they break shape back four, you don't break them down, and then they spring from that. I don't know what they're being taught in training. And as Bath Time says, maybe they really don't care. But Ten Hag has to start making those guys kill, or he's going to be gone. But look, I've got to go because there's a lot of noise. I'll be watching. But look, let me leave because I don't.
Thanks, Mr. B. Thank you.
Shout out to the rest of the Jedi.
I will.
Cheers, man. We got Tom P for us. Take care, man.
I will, man. Cheers. Later. Bye.
Yeah, you're spot on there. I reckon Bath Time. A lot of people saying the same thing again about the second goal. It just seems too easy. I mean, you can go the whole game and they could have scored more, but that one was just a big sigh, and I thought, wow, how do we get back into it? It's just disheartening, especially when you're 2-1 up and you do all that, not hard work, but you get into position like that. You must be sighing at all your teammates saying, how did this happen after we just come out fresh? But anyway, just continued to dominate the game, didn't they? And then we had a shot from McTominay after 61 minutes. And then some subs were made, and it was a great rousing reception for the Butcher, the return of the Butcher. Now, I'm a bit disappointed because I'm thinking, yeah, great to see the Butcher back. But Evans was playing pretty well. He helped set up the second goal for us. And I thought he played well. And I think it's a bit disappointing for him to come off just because the Butcher needed to come on for some reason. I don't know.
I think his passing wasn't great, Amondi.
Who? Evans.
Evans. Yeah. Like a lot of the time, like he was sort of peeling off like near the touchline, and the press was closing in. And like the thing is that like I don't think players were working hard enough to help him. I can remember in the first half, Delo like not one down the middle, and Bruno came and shouted at him for it not being in the right place. But Bruno was so late to come there that once like you get Martinez on and you see these nice outside balls and inside balls, but the first bloody thing he does is try and nutmeg on the touchline, which I did not like that at all.
It came off.
That's not well, I don't care if it comes off. You shouldn't be doing stuff like that, in my view. But I think that Martinez came on to sort of like add to get the ball out a little bit better. Like I thought the subs were quite good. To be honest, I felt we look. I mean, we didn't look much better, but we improved a little bit. But at the same time, Like, we're getting done on corners. Like, to be honest, Spurs, they got in a lot, but they lacked the quality with Werner and Richarlison to really hurt us. So they weren't creating a lot. It was just constant pressure, and we looked lost out there. And I think once again, it's down to just how open and wide we are. Like, I just don't understand what he's doing.
Just going back to Rashi, because we're going to talk about a couple of things now, because there wasn't much action after that. But Rashford wasn't really tracking back because he had Porro coming inside, and Porro was like involved in the game. But people were saying that Porro was defensively naive. But I think that was the way they play, and relying on their centre backs to cover. But our only outlet seemed to be that ball to Rashford a lot of the time, and that's when you say we were playing long balls. That seemed to be the outlet for us. That seemed to be the plan, to get Rashford in over their high line and get in. And it worked a couple of times when he did get the ball, but we need more than that, I believe. I felt we just need to. When I saw them dominating the play, I thought, why can't we just get our foot on the ball and just pop it around a bit? Why are we looking so rattled trying to play out here against this team? It's really disappointing in that respect. But what do you think about this? Because I mean, we didn't really create many chances, but we still managed to score a couple of goals at home. But when you said to me earlier before the show about Ange and his impact that he's had, and it looks bad on Ten Hag, do you still go with that? Do you still think that Ten Hag is lacking behind these managers like De Zerbi here from Brighton and Ange being tactically mastered by these guys?
Well, look. All right, so there's a couple of things. One is, I still think that Ten Hag doesn't understand our league. He doesn't understand that you need 5 people who can head the football, like, consistently on the team, is that the people he gets in just get smaller and smaller. He doesn't seem to understand that physicality is such an important thing in the league. Like, pretty much until, like, McTominay came on, we lost, like, everything. I know Andrew's talked about Pedro Porro, but I checked before I came on, and Porro won the most duels. He won a lot of duels against Rashford, but Rashford also wasn't able to do anything. And the thing is Rashford's decision making is so bad. Like, I know McTominay missed a good chance at the end, but he would have had a tap in if Rashford had crossed the ball instead of doing the can and doing his own musical and stuff. But the other thing is that Eriksen and Mainu are not like competition winners. They're extremely good footballers who can play with the ball at their feet, and yet we're not set up for those two to get the ball. Like, how often did you see Eriksen and Mainu on the ball today?
Very rarely. You're right. Very rarely.
Very rarely. Who was on the ball the most?
Probably the defenders, more so, or the
and
fullback.
Bruno.
Yeah, Bruno.
And Bruno, all he is vertical. That's all he does. It's always get the ball forward quickly, and you need to pass it sideways. I know people seem to hate sideways passes, but that's pretty much what Spurs were doing. They were tempting us in, playing little combinations, and then releasing people. And they were constantly looking for Wan-Bissaka and Rashford's side, because Wan-Bissaka's a bit of a ditz. I mean, he wasn't terrible today. Like, he did okay defensively, but Rashford I don't know, Omondi, because I don't know if you get Ange in this team, if he can get us to play like Spurs, because of Bruno and Rashford, and to a degree Garnacho. Because they're one-note footballers. They have no subtlety to their game. And Rasmus Hojlund offers very little as well. His runs are bloody terrible. Balls were getting put into that box that were good. And McTominay gets in, hits a poor header, unfortunate. But where was Rasmus for the whole of the game with those kind of runs? Because there were...
Just stop you there. I do remember one cross came over, and Rasmus was on his own against 4 narrow defenders, even as fullback.
But he didn't go, Omondi.
Yeah, but he was on his own. I mean, to pick him out 1 in 4, I'm thinking, oh, how is he supposed to get picked out when there's 4 guys there? I was looking for someone at the back post to come in and join them. You know, when they're getting crosses in like that. Garnacho down the right, Rashford just held off. He could have got on the end of something there, or at least caused a bit of danger if he would have made a bit of an effort to get in there for the cross, and he didn't. It ended up with 1 guy against 4. So when you talk about Rasmus and his runs, and
but it doesn't. Well,
it's a bit unfair because. Well, he's trying to get into the box. Just the cross didn't go.
He's looking at Garnacho.
The cross didn't go directly to his head.
Yeah, that's the point. Is that you have to kick it exactly onto his head for him to score, because he doesn't make an early
running
run.
One way. We're breaking. He's running into the box to get on the end of something, and the defender, 2 centre backs are really quite close to him. And the only thing he can do, he's not going to stop his run, maybe, or whatever. He needs to try and attack the ball, but the ball didn't come in the right area. So I'm saying, granted, I know what you say about his run, but I'm saying there's 4 guys there and only 1 striker. Where's Rashford? Where's the midfielder rushing in as well? We can't do that 1 against 4. The odds are just all against us straight away.
Well, I think that I don't think Rasmus is a killer, and I think that if that's Ronaldo, Cavani, someone like that, they make the run earlier and they try and get ahead of their man. And I don't see it from Rasmus. And this also goes to my point about Garnacho being 1 note, is that in that situation, knock it back to Delo, pass it infield, let us get up the pitch so that then we've got like more players in areas that can score. Yeah. But everything's disjointed, OMONDI. I mean, did you see anything positive from today's performance?
To be honest, no, not really. What I would say is that we were outplayed, we dominated, and it's a bit unfair. I want to see a bit more. If we would have had a bit more of the ball, we could do more with it. Just relying on sort of one direction or one play all the time to get out, or not having any sort of nous in midfield, sort of getting the ball and pop it around and sort of slow things down and play at our tempo. I just found it disappointing that we can't do that. And Spurs, you have to give them credit. They're a good side, and the league doesn't lie. That's exactly where they are. Andrew Williams saying here, Darius, you rarely score a goal from a cross where there's only 1 of us in the box. Just backing up my point there. There's not enough hunger here to get into the box. And like I said, Rashford was coasting. He wasn't trying to get in there. But you're just basically saying about the runs, the intelligence of the runs that Rasmus is making.
Yeah. I completely agree. I don't think the ball should have gone into the box there. I think from there you have to recycle. But Rasmus just all game, like when you think of the 2 goals, they're really poor striker play. I know the finish is amazing, but running into his own man and then trying that 1-2, like I'm really not convinced by it. And I understand that he's not getting help, but we're always talking about the service he gets and like people clogging up his space and stuff. Like I watched him today and he looks easy to defend against for me. But you stick him in the and the other thing is that there was this bit out on where he's like on the left-hand side, and I can't remember who it does, but he does like a little Cruyff chop.
Yeah.
Gets his. But did you see what happened with the cross?
Yeah.
Keeper just walks out and is already there to get it because it's too predictable and there's no one there. And
I bet that Garnacho is waiting for the cross so it has to be a perfect cross. He should have come from as well. There's a lot of things there. We're talking about 20-year-old Garnacho, 20-year-old Hojlund, Rashford, who's probably still got a 20-year-old brain IQ when it comes to these things. So there's lack of experience there, and these things. It's an art to learn these stuff, and sometimes we don't need coaches, we need teachers to teach people how to play the game and understand. Like you talk about body shape, things like that. You wonder sometimes, are these things being taught, or is it just little plays and that kind of thing? I think you need teachers out there to teach people just how to score goals. That's why Cavani, when you look at there was a quote that someone said, go and watch Cavani if you want to learn how to finish and how to create spaces in the box and that sort of thing. Yeah. So we need teachers out there rather than coaches. Because I can go do my badges and everything else, but unless I've played at a high level or understand the little smart things to do on the pitch, sometimes I won't be able to get that point across. I'll just play doing things from a textbook, which really doesn't really help. It's all right teaching them a drill, but why Is it why are you taking the drill? What is important about this? What do you need to do? You know, hopefully we get some coaches in who can do that and teach these young players. Like you said, Rashford's got 20-year-old brain. We've learned.
Got to do it like Rocky 3 OMONDI. Take them back to the streets. These academy boys. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's like with Mbappe, and one of Mbappe's specials is a near post finish. And I'm convinced that he learned it from Cavani, who would have been there at the same time.
Good shout. Yeah, I rate that. Good shout. It's probably true. Yeah. So having better players around you does help sometimes, you know.
Well, this is why we got Benny McCarthy.
Yeah. Yeah. But everyone was praising him, but no one's saying anything.
Like everyone's going on about our set piece coach. Like when you look at the attacking runs, like to be honest, the only person that sort of reeks of danger when they're in the box is McTominay. Who's like who's a number 8?
Is that because McTominay's got the legs to get into the box and had the added player there? Is that the only reason?
I think it might. I think it's probably two things. One is it's probably just like a natural thing, but the other thing is that he spent most of his career as a defensive midfielder, so he understands like which spaces are dangerous, and he understands like how to sort of like get on the shoulder of someone and run on the blind side and stuff like that. But I wanted to ask you something, which is, of all the strikers on the pitch today, like Rashford, or all the forwards, Rashford, Garnacho, Hojlund, Werner, Richarlison, and the other one, Johnson.
Johnson, yeah.
Which one do you think would be the hardest for you to play against?
Me personally?
Yeah.
I think Werner. I think when he, because a lot of the time he was in one-on-one situations that was, you know, we were jockeying him. I was thinking in my head, I remember thinking this, thinking, what does he do again? What's the data on him? What does he actually do? And he's got that burst. You know, he's got that burst, but he doesn't want to do that like Johnson. He cuts inside, pass it simple. He's like a typical German player. He's well schooled because you don't know what he's going to do. So he will mix it up throughout the whole game, get in these situations time and time again. And then the next one time, he's just going to burst you because you're not ready for it. He does different things. This is what I'm saying. So people might think, oh, he's rubbish, he's boring and whatever. There's one time he got the ball on the left and just drove inside because there was space to drive inside because the defender wasn't sure what this guy's going to do. Whereas Brendan Johnson, you know, maybe he's naive or youth. So most of the time he's going to drive at you or go down the line or something like that. Richarlison, I think, is easy to manage. And then when you look at Rashford, for example, he's easy to manage as well because you just cover yourself, keep it tight. They run into you. You know, Garnacho, he was dealt with. He's pocketed by this big guy today because he didn't have the nous to sort of play little triangles or try to beat a man that way. So I think the hardest guy, might sound stupid, but I was thinking that during the game, was Werner because he mixes up. I think you need to mix things up that much. I was talking to my friend for hours on the phone yesterday. I'll chat to you after. We've got some things going on, but he was saying the same thing. It's about you could do a step over, like we were talking like when we were doing little drills ourselves. You could do a step over and push to your right to get shot off on your right foot. You do that once, you do that twice against me. Next time, you ain't doing that again because I lock that down. That's why you need to learn to say step over and get it onto your left foot. Learn that. You know what I'm saying? You might learn. So people learn a trick, say it gets good to them, you know, and you can do that time and time again. But at this top level, you need to sort of adapt and mix things up. Otherwise, you become too predictable. So I felt Werner, even though you might think he's basic, he's got the drive when he wants to. He can play it back. He can drive inside, and he mixes it up. I felt today. So I think he would have been the hardest player for me to play against.
I sort of agree because Werner's got this thing that Saka has as well, and that our wingers don't have, where with his body shape and the way he like approaches opponents, he's always got 3 or 4 different things that he can do. He can go outside, he can go inside, he can shoot, he can do all sorts of stuff. And like I agree with like what Andrew's saying about like Werner's incredibly erratic. But I felt that he was the most dangerous forward on the pitch just because of doing like the basics and like working half spaces and channels. And I felt Delot did quite well against him a few times. But I don't know, Monday, when you look at like Timo Werner as being like probably like the most dangerous attacker on the pitch and with Manchester United, it feels like dark times to me at the moment. I'm really upset, confused, and bewildered.
Well,
More
let's
so
talk
than
about a
normal.
couple of things here, Bath time. We've got 2 weeks for our next game. Granted, it's against the team we should be beating. It's in the FA Cup, but those 2 weeks, could be crucial on the training ground. We've got players coming back in. We're going to have 2 weeks on the training ground. It's going to feel like a pre-season or something. Maybe we should go away and just get things together. Do you think? And obviously, we saw in the stands today with Ratcliffe coming in as well. So that's a big statement. So do you think this is a turning point for us? We can come back in a couple of weeks refreshed and have some sort of game plan, which we haven't been able to fulfill with all the games that we've had since August, since the start of the season.
No, because because of all our signings and stuff, everything is just so scattergun. Like when we look at the midfield, I imagine that most people would like to see a midfield of Casemiro, Mainu, and Bruno.
Yeah,
it won't work, right? It won't work because one of them needs to be more of a runner, and you're wasting Kobe Mainu if you put him as a runner. And also, he's not a powerful runner. He was getting eaten time and time again today, and it's not his fault. It's just that's the situation that you're in. So, like, I'm not sure that Kobe and Casemiro can play effectively together in this system. Like, maybe if we go to a double pivot, which is where Bruno's best form has come from, with McFred behind him, then maybe there's something there. But I think if we're to get anywhere, what we really need to do is just say which players are the future and which ones aren't, and then give them a platform to perform on. So we need to decide who our first choice right winger is, who our first choice left winger is. We also need to sort of decide like how Rasmus is going to play in like games where we have more possession. We need to work out what we're like. Is Ericsson gone? Like, is McTominay going to be in the team? And then the other issue is we've got to look at our first choice centre back pairing, because pretty much everyone's going to be fit. And then you've got to look at the fullbacks as well with like Shaw. Like, does Shaw like get in over Delo at left back? Not for me. But then you've got to think about the height of like Martinez and all these sort of things.
Yeah.
That's blasphemy, Zoe. And so, but the thing is that these are all problems that should have been sorted out ages ago with a coherent transfer policy. So it's not even about the drills or the desire or anything like that. It's like what we want to be as a football team, instead of just putting this player here, that player there, and hoping for moments. Like, go and look at Spurs, look at Arsenal, look at City, and look like what they're doing on and off the ball, and work out a plan for Manchester United. And the real question, Amonde, is: I know you like Ten Hag, I know you like hierarchy and like sort of geography of discipline, but is he the man to sort these problems out?
For the first time, I will say this. I'll say this. I think seeing Ratcliffe there today, it shows you there's going to be some changes being made. And I think it's a possibility now that if we don't sort of push on and perform better, like you said, in the next 2 weeks, come back refreshed and perform better, and the fans are on side, not booing or sighing like they were at the end of today's game, beating out played at home. If we start to, we have to dramatically change something. The fans determine a lot of stuff. And if they're sighing and upset, I think being at the stadium, Ratcliffe would feel that and think we need to make a change here to get the fans on side here. If I'm in the stands today, that's a statement. They want to see sort of difference. They want to see an impact. He's got his reputation as well. So I think it's a possibility now. I'm saying this for the first time that Ten Hag is under fire. If we would have won today, even if we were playing poorly, if McTominay would have scored that goal, I would have still been, okay, here's momentum, let's take it on from here. But now it's been stop-start all season. Win a game, lose. Win a game, get knocked out of the Champions League. Win a game, eventually, and it's like, okay, we're back. I was saying, and it got so stupid where I really had to check myself. I was saying, we're back because we beat Wigan. We played pretty well. And then we turn up today, and, how naive am I to sort of say these things? And it comes back down to the manager. I want to see more from the manager. So my last chance is this. I'm saying the 2 weeks we have off, hopefully with the players back, there's no excuses. The players will be back. We've got time to work on the training ground. We've got an easy win in the FA Cup. After that, in the league games, I want to see better performances. I want to see us dominating. I want to see us coming back, talking on our watch along or our post-match show, sort of drooling about how well we're performing. At the moment, we haven't been able to do that. So, for the first time, there's a big question mark for me about Ten Hag.
So is that results or performances you want to see when we come back?
I think what we want to see the state. Look, as fans, they're paying their good money. You want fans to come away drooling and saying, "Yeah, that was good," and excitement. And this is the thing, regardless. So results is important, but also almost equally important is the fans walk away being enthusiastic and passionate about going to the next game and paying their good money to see a better performance next time around, or excited about the prospect of coming up against a big team. At the moment, we're not. We were anxious about playing Spurs today, and it proved rightly so by the performance. We were outplayed completely, and maybe the league doesn't lie, but we're probably lucky to get a draw in some respects. What's your thoughts on that? Do you think? I'm saying Ten Hag's question mark now, but do you think what does he need to do to come back and sort of turn your head again?
So what does Ten Hag have to do to get my confidence?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's easy, isn't it? Score more goals, concede less goals.
Yeah.
I think what I have to see is I want to see players dropped. Like I want to see Bruno out of the team for a bit. I want Rashford out of the team. I want Onana out of the team. I want Rasmus out of the team because I feel that there are players that can skate on by, like Rashford and Anthony and things like that. I also really want to see us work on some effing throw-ins. But I think what it's got to be is we've got to be more compact and we've got to play as a team. I don't want to see horizontal balls, the ball pumped forward. I don't want to see us relying on transitions. What I would love to see is we get back and we pass the ball around. We work as hard as possible, and it's a team that represents us and the people of Manchester and all the fans that are before us and after us. But I just don't think he can do it because I don't think he understands our league. I don't really think that he understands top-level football because we're constantly conceding from the same area, the most dangerous place in football, and there's no protection there. And I don't want him to drop the line deeper. Martinez and Varane are good box defenders, right? I'm not sure that they work particularly well in a high line. So I don't know what he can do. Just go out and win games, and win them with win them without referees' decisions, without moments. Go out and dominate a game. I watched Manchester City play Newcastle yesterday. So Newcastle were playing the way that we used to play against Man City, trying to hit on the break. And Man City, they're getting behind and in between. They were using the width and stuff like that. If we perform like that and we lost, everyone would be delirious because we've never seen football like that at Old Trafford. So I want to see something that fires my blood, that ignites a bit of poetry in the soul. And Ten Hag is not the man for passion, is he?
Yeah, I was gonna, it's funny you say you use Newcastle example. I was going to use that example to say their fans will be happy, despite them not being in Champions League contention at the moment. They'll be happy. I watched the game yesterday as well, and I thought, being at home, they were really unfortunate. Obviously, the last-minute goal, whatever, but they were up against the top side in Man City, and they were doing well, and they were up, they were winning as well, and they were just fiery, they're passionate, they're hungry. All the players, and this is an English manager, Don House, Eddie Howe, who knows the league, who knows what it takes, to sort of get, and he's got big, strong players in there as well, good runners as well. Keeps playing that young man in midfield who's 18 years old, and he
also kept playing Isaac up front after. Do you remember against PSG? Didn't work hard enough when they played a similar style. He did the same thing again, didn't he? Like in the second
you don't
half.
think he worked hard enough, Isaac?
No, I don't think he worked hard enough.
And then Callum Wilson's on the bench, who's
crazy.
Yeah, interesting that. But Newcastle were great, says Andrew Williams as well. And City were prime City yesterday. Just goes to show, I mean, look, to win that game, that just shows the quality of what we got to deal with. And I felt that when Ten Hag came to the club, he did say all empires come to an end. But with City,
so embarrassing.
With City, it looks like it's going to be 4 in a row at this rate because they were just magnificent.
I'll tell you something else about City, right? OMONDI. Is only one person is on the ball at a time at City. The rest of them are moving into spaces and stuff like that, right? So why can't we do the moving into spaces? Like every other team does it. Like, fine, all right. Kobe Mainu, McTominay, whatever. They might not have the quality of a Kevin De Bruyne or a Silva or whatever and be able to play them passes. But we're meant to have an elite coach. We're meant to have one of the best coaches in Europe. And no one is playing behind and between today, were they? Like, true. You look at City. Do you remember that clip that I sent you, De Bruyne's goal, where he starts behind and between and then off? Why are we not being coached to play like that? This is the football that we're meant to be playing. Intelligent, annoying, in between the lines. And none of them were doing it. It was just Bruno, like, launching satellites to Rashford, whose bloody head is in the clouds, but not in the stratosphere, or at least not yet. So I don't have any confidence, like, in the manager. It's just like superstition and voodoo and witchcraft is how he appears to try and win games, not through a style of play and certainly not through coaching. Because, like, right at the end, we get a chance from McTominay. McTominay 100% should score, but McTominay's actually not as good in the air as people think. He's good at winning the ball, but he's never been particularly good at directing it because he's he's played as number 6 most of his career. But in that last 10 minutes, when we got the ball and stuff, there was no cohesion. Players didn't know where to go. Like, Delo was just like doing a little can like Christina Aguilera, like on the side of the pitch. Anthony, I mean, he just looked like he dribbles like a man that's had electric shock treatment. Like, speaking from experience. But then you look at City and you see how they play. And also you look how we played against Wigan, where we were good against Wigan. I know it's only Wigan, but we were in the right areas. And we just can't we can't even string 45 minutes together where we play well. So I don't know what the manager can do, mate. I think we just view him as an interim until we get someone else in. And I'd much prefer, like, Graham Potter to Ten Hag at the moment. Or I'd probably prefer Steve McClaren to take over. Like, at least that's a man I know who understands the basics of football.
Oh dear! All right, well, we've got over an hour. There's a lot more to come during the next 2 weeks, guys, because there's not much game time on, so we've got more time to talk about all these issues that we've got at the club right now, haven't we? So we'll be back every day at 9 p.m. No doubt about it. Obviously, we've got Rebel doing his thing on a Thursday night as well. So, guys, make sure you come in with some suggestions, things you want to talk about, things you want us to discuss as well. We will be having a quiz as well next week and really going over everything and what needs to change at the club. And hopefully there'll be some good news. Obviously, there's a transfer window open at the moment. Who knows what could happen there? You know, we might be able to get someone in who's going to change things up for us. Zimmer Frame, Anthony says Zoe Media House, and groans from Andrew Williams. Guys, thanks everyone in the comments for joining in.
Just before you end them on there, if in the comments or in the bit afterwards, like where you can leave comments when the show's live, I'll try and do an eye test tomorrow. If there's anything you want it to be on, let me know, because I'm just going to go and cry for a little bit now and like have to come up with something tomorrow.
All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Bath time, thanks again, bro. We will see you on Monday and for the rest of the week. But yeah, it was 2-2 today. We've got a point. We've gone a point up above Brighton into 7th place. Yeah, more to come. Anyway, good night, guys. Enjoy your Sunday, and we'll see you tomorrow.